Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Fake Grand Order video. And today, we're going to be talking about the Servant Summer Festival! Something that I've been meaning to talk about sooner, but yesterday, I kind of lost my entire day because I had to stay up, I had to wake up super early to get the Sonic Secret Layers, then rest for a bit, and then wake up again, and then get ready for work, which I read in the night shift, and then work was really long. And when I tried to record this, it was completely wrong. I was making mistakes every other minute. So, finally, full of energy, I can talk about Servant Summer Festival. That's going to be today's video. I hope you like it. If you do, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me how long you've been waiting for this. Are you likely waiting for the next... Summer is usually the event that ends the year. Usually. What comes up next is still some really good stuff, but this is where most people are saving. And it's funny because this is Lost Belt 6 Summer, and it's likely that there's a ton of other people, trust me, I'm one of them, that are waiting for the next summer event. It never ends when it comes to waiting for summer. But yeah, feel free to tell me what your current plans are. So, before we begin and go over the event itself, which you'll see here, thanks to this, we know that it's coming on the 17th, because there's going to be a stream on the 17th. Likely we'll go into maintenance, and then when maintenance ends, it will be 18 for me, and then everyone can go ahead and do their summons and fail to get whoever they like. I'll be joining you in the failure, because of course me and my brother have plans to summon for summer. We always do. But before I get into the actual event, I will say at the forefront that there might be small spoilers for Lost Belt 6. I'm not really going to bring up anything that happens in Lost Belt 6 in here, but in case you find character names and the fact that Oberon has a second costume as a spoiler of some kind, then this is your chance to leave the video. It always hurts the channel when I say you should leave, but I would prefer it if you wanted to stay unknown about the events of the story. It's worth it for Lost Belt 6, so feel free to leave now. Okay, now that everyone is here that wants to stay here, let's continue on. The Servant Summer Festival 2023, a technical sequel to the last time we had Servant Summer Fest, which was with BB. This will start on the 17th. The only requirement that you need to actually start it is Fuyuki, which is funny because this is so focused around Lost Belt 6. But funny how that kind of works out sometimes. It will start on the 17th. If you're interested to know who are the summer units for this year, in terms of the units themselves, which I'll talk about some of them a little bit later into the video, it is Castoria, Berserker, Summer Castoria, Summer Chloe, Summer Suzuki goes in, Summer Bargus, Summer Katku Sura Priestess, which is Babon Sith, or Babu Frick, or Trico, whichever way you want to pronounce her name. I say it wrong with Babu Frick because it reminds me of the Star Wars character. And Melusane Ruler. Last night, I actually forgot how to say Melusane, which is insane because now that I think about it, I'm probably been saying it wrong this entire time. But the fact that I couldn't even say this name shows you how tired I was. And the free-to-play servant is going to be Knock, which I'm looking forward to hearing how this is possible. As someone who read through Lost Belt 6, I'm actually kind of curious to see how they justified Nock being a servant of some kind. And for the males, we have Oberon, and of course he has a second costume dress. Gawain, Tristan, Lancelot, Saber, they all have summer outfits, which are based off of their the old ones that they got. It's funny that they've had these for a while, but then just for this summer, they're like, okay, we'll give it to them now. And the summer streetwear, which is what we will be wearing. Now, in terms of the event itself, here's how it's going to go down. So on day 1, which is going to be, again, 17th or likely the 18th for us, that's when we get Main Quest Act 0 through 3, Delivery Quest, Mini Scenario, and Free Quest. Now, on Japan, 2 days later is when they got the next bit here, and it's true then again for them. So I don't know if we're going to follow this, but if we do, I'm assuming that it will be the 19th is when we would get this next bit, and then the next one, it would be the 21st, and then 22nd, and then 23rd. It was really weird. It goes like 2, 2, 1, 1. But following it should be Main Quest, excuse me, Main Quest Act 4 through 6, along with some free quests, then Main Quest Act 7 through 8, and some free quests, Main Quest Acts 9 through 11, Delivery Quest, Mini Scenarios, and Free Quest, and then the final bit of it is going to be Main Quest Act 12, which is the epilogue, the final bit of the Mini Scenarios and Free Quests, and this is also what we will finally have the ability to unlock Knock permanently. In terms of the event mechanics, it's similar to the previous Servant Summer Festival, which was this BB one, which you can see right here, the one where we got Summer Jolter. Unlike the previous Servafest, Circle's progress gauge is not accumulated through event points, but by completing delivery quests, which we'll take a look at a little later. Those quests require special event items to start instead of AP. Filling up the Circle's progress gauge will level it up, granting bonuses during the event itself, which is Buster Up during event battles. The bonuses granted by the Circle level can also be amplified by using as thin as a narrow straight event CE, which we'll also take a look at a little bit later. Main quests are time gated. The event reward SR is Knock, which will be unlocked by temporarily at the beginning of the event, and then as you finish it, it will become permanent. Clearing the epilogue of the event will unlock quests that you can do to level up her NP. The event has mission system, and the challenge quest is unlocked after clearing the epilogue. So if you never did the previous old Servant Summer Festival, basically it's about making dojin, which you can see right here, and you'll be able to unlock these dojin by doing the Circle quest, which you can see here, which is the drawing collection, and then these are also the circles or the clubs that they will be in here, and you can level them up through, you can see all the various buffs that they give, like quick up, arts up, star generation up, critical damage up, buster up, NP damage up, and you can look at here to see what they mean about, yeah, you require this, and then if you progress it, you'll get more rewards and stuff like that. And these are also the separate there's like 2 sets. There's technically 6 drops on here, but they drop at the same rate, so it should be fine. I'll, again, show you what I mean. It's easier to just look at the free quest. So you can see here that this drops the Kona Beans along with Tropical Nuts and also these energy drinks and the Curry of Knowledge. So you'll be able to get them, and similar to the other one, it kind of like, sometimes it's better in some other places than it is in others. It's just another material to grind. And just like they said there, it's a mission system. With thankfully not over 100 missions, it's just 30, and they're pretty self-explanatory. In the past, as someone who's played FGO for a very long time, I remember when these were like, beat 50 enemies of this one trait that is only available in this one specific node. Thankfully, they're a little bit easier. It's just like do like a bunch of delivery quests, reach Artoria book writing completion by 1 circle, and this is true for a lot of the free genres, stuff like that. Reach the book writing completion for Fairy Kingdom Chaldea, obtain a bunch of the materials here. It's all very simple stuff. Ascend Knock, reach bond level 3 with Knock, clear 10 quests with Knock in the party. It's not that hard. It shouldn't be that bad compared to a lot of the older mission quests that still haunt me to this day. And yeah, that's basically the very easy event summary of it all. There's not too much to really take focus of it. In terms of some campaigns that will be coming with it, Chaldea Broadcast Light, which should be the thing that we're getting on the 17th. That should hopefully give us 14 Saint Quartz. An event commemoration login bonus, which will give us cumulative logins, which is from day 1 to day 21, which you'll able to get 3 golden apples and a bunch of silver apples for all the other days. 18 of them, I believe, if I'm right with 21. Yeah, what's 21 minus 3? Should be right. And Nock will also get ×2 EXP during the synthesis, which is very nice if you want to level up Nock, or you're looking to get Nock to the ultimate final form of a level 120 or something like that. Should make it much easier. And then next, let's look through the event bonuses. These are pretty obvious. All the 5-star and Nock will get 100% damage and 50%. All the new 4-stars and the 4-star males that got, and all the males actually, Oberon is included in this, along with Summer Morgan or Ash the Savior, or Tornleko, whatever you want to call her, will get 50% damage bonus and a 20% bonus to Bond. And then any unit that is like featured in the event itself or a previous summer unit, they should get 30% damage at 20% Bond. That's why someone like Muramasa is on here in the stage 1 only, even though he's not a summer. He likely is involved in one of the circles or one of the mission things, and that's why he has like a bonus. That's what I'm assuming here as someone just looking at it. And as always, Mash gets 50% damage bonus and 5% bond to everyone in the party, which is always nice. These are the Dojin craft essences. All you need to know is that they give these +1 bonus when you get them. And they also have really cool art. I've always liked that they did this. This is why Servant Festival was so cool, is that they had a bunch of cool, like, CE art that you could just get for free. And some of them are references to something else, and some of them are not. Like, obviously, the What was it? The Artoria Mount Liang is clearly just based off of the Mount Liang thing, but what if it was just only Artorias? This gaming with Artoria is also based off of a game. I just don't remember which one. Let me see if I can look at it. Oh, it's Ghosts and Goblins. At least in this first one. This is totally 100% the graveyard from the first Ghosts and Goblins. Did they replace the Red Devil with the woman from Lost Boat 6 that is kind of a dick? I mean, dick is not right to say what she is. She's a little bit more the evil woman from I guess that doesn't really sum it up either. There's a lot of evil going on in that. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about if you played Lost Belt 6. Let's continue on, because there's a lot to cover for this. In terms of the event cards, these are the event craft essences, which is as thin as a narrow straight, which is art 8 plus 8%, buster 8%, damage cut minus 100, and starting NP is 30%, and it amplifies the circle buffs. So let me see if they can give a little bit more. Yeah, so it scales with the circle level. So this will make the buffs just better when you have it on. Non-limit break, it's quick up to 25% to 50%, and then if you have it at it scales with the circle level and you have it max limit break, it can get from 50% to 100%, which is kind of nuts, kind of nice, not bad. And then the other CE is the inferior ones. Quick plus 10% NP gain plus 10% starts. You get to start with 15 stars, and then you get +1 of all the Curry of Knowledge, the Energy Drink, and the Stake of Emotions, which is never going to be not funny that I read that this is just straight up called the Stake of Emotions. I feel like all stakes are Stake of Emotions. Event command codes are the Wolf Maiden of the Sun, engraved card, critical damage plus 30% when fighting in the battlefield, when battlefield is sunlight. Prywithin, the weapon that Mo turned into a surfboard. Engraved card ignores defensive buffs and then gain 2 stars when attacking with the engraved card. And then the Sisterly Saintess Follower, when engraved on an arts card, engraved card gets crit damage plus 10% and gain 1 star when attacking with the engraved card. And this is the 3-star command code, featuring the little dolphin, which I think is called Reese, if I'm remembering right. And this is what the map looks like. Looks like a gigantic shoe. And pre-live stream information, nothing, because ours is different from this. Now let's take a look at the event shop. Okay, so like I said, these are all the different materials that you'll get: Alpine, Coda Nuts, Tropical Nuts, Curry of Knowledge, Energy Drink of Instinct, and the Stake of Emotions. For these, all you need to know, because you're mainly spending these on the mission list, what happens, not mission list, the circles, what happens when you finish all the deliveries? Well, all the bonus ones you can just exchange for QP. You should probably obviously do this after you've unlocked everything, and it will be a nice little bonus at the end. It's just free QP as you grind with the regular stuff. In terms of the other materials, let's start with Alpons, which I believe are the... I can take a look at the summoning campaign. I can look here. The Kona Nuts are... The Tropical Nuts are the bronze material. The Kona Beans are the silver material. And the Alpons are the gold material. So we'll start with the gold material, which is Alpons. You'll need a grand total of 5,470 to get everything in the shop. You can get a soda ice cream, which is a item that you'll need to clear Act 4, Part 2 to unlock. Basically, at some point in the mission list, you need to get this to continue on. And then this will be added to the shop, and then you just have to get this. If you don't get this, then I guess you can't continue on. You can get 2 as thin as narrow straight CEs, 2 of the ephemeral ones. Gawain's outfit, Oberon's outfit, the second outfit for Oberon, which unlocks only after you clear the epilogue, the VVV stick, which also unlocks after you do the epilogue, a crystallized lore. You can get a total of 10 eggs, 10 spirit roots, 20 ether photon convergers, next is Obsidian Edge. Yeah, the Obsidian Edge, you can get 30 Obsidian Edge, 16 stacks of the... This one's always weird for me to say. 16 stacks of 10 Nox Servant Coins, so every time you get one of these, you get 10 coins at one time. You can do this 16 times. It always feels weird to say it, but that is the way it goes. 25 stacks of 10 evocation leaves, 20 gold archer, rider, and berserker statues, 1 HP and a attack foe, a code remover, and you can, once you get everything you need from the shop, you can start trading them in for QP. Next is a silver material, which is the Kona beans. Give me a sec, because it looks like someone is likely calling me. No one was calling me. It turns out it was something from a place that delivers food that said, hey, you might be hungry. I thought it was an important work email. It was not. It's all right. Moving on to Kona beans. In the Kona beans, you can get two thin as a narrow straight CEs, 2 of the ephemeral 1 CE, Lancelot's Saber's outfit, which is the strongest knight of the summer, Scotty, which is the big fish. This is funny because I think I've talked about this before, but on her stage 4, this is her final stage 4. Not in any of the other previous stages. They had to make it a costume dress because her final ascension is a swimsuit that you don't use. Very funny, but they added it, which is good on them for it. You can get this after you clear Act 4 Part 2. And then the other stuff is a VVV stick, a lore, 20 primordial langu, 20 phoenix plums, 20 scales of fantasy, the 16 stacks of 10 Nox servant coins, the 25 stacks of 10 evocation leaves, 20 silver archer, ruler, and berserker statues, 1 golden foe for attack, and a code remover. And that is the main basic here. So let's move on to the tropical nuts, and you'll need a grand total of 3,500 to get everything in here. So, and for tropical nuts, you'll need a grand total of 3,600 to get everything in this shop. The things in the shop are 2 as thin as narrow straight CEs, 2 of the ephemeral 1 CE, the Tristan costume. Chloe also gets a costume, which is serious mode, which I won't show out of fear of getting hit by some form of YouTube censor of some kind. The VVV stick, 20 seashells, 20 infinity gears, 20 permafrost, 30 ashes, 16 stacks of 10 Nox servant coins, 25 stacks of 10 evocation leaves, 1 golden foe for attacks, 20 silver attack and HP foes, 55 EXP, 104 EXP, 103 EXP, and then you can trade, once you're done getting everything, you trade these into Kona beans, and then you can do the same for Kona beans to turn them into Arpons. And yeah, that's the event shop for this one. There is some decent stuff in here. I can't wait to get more. I'm completely dead on this item, the obsidian, and I have almost none of the ether photon converters, so it is nice to kind of get more of these. I'm a little bit in the need for them. And now we can move on finally to talking about the units that are going to be featured on this. So in terms of banners, there's going to be a lot of banners. I'm not going to talk about every single unit, and I will also include, when I'm talking about the units, I'll also go over Nock a little bit. This is why this video is going to be so insanely long, and I'm trying to get through it as fast as I can. But in terms of summoning campaigns, on day 1, we are going to get Summer Castoria, Summer Suzuki Gozen, and Summer Chloe. On Summoning Campaign 2, that's where the men are. That's where we get a banner featuring Oberon, Gawain, Lancelot Saber, and Tristan, along with the male craft essences, which we will look at pretty soon. The Summoning Campaign 3, which is the part 2 of the summer units, is going to feature Summer Melusane, Catgoose Priestess, and Vargas. Summoning Campaign 4, which is going to feature Tez. He's up in here somehow. I don't know how, but he is in the story. And then there's a Summer 22 rerun, which for us would be Summer 2024, which will feature Lady Avalon, Summer Ibuki, Scotty, Gareth, Aris, and Wusatane, which is all the heavy hitters from last year. If you missed out on all of them, they get to all come back. A lot of banners to go through. In terms of their CEs, we'll go over them real quick, or at least try to. Rate up craft essences are Dazzling Moon, which is the 5-star. You gain 3 crit stars every turn. It increases buster performance by 8%, and then it overcharges NP by 2 stages for 1 time. And this helps with this drops the gold material, which is Alpond. Cactus City, which is charge up NP gauge by 3% every turn, increase quick performance by 3%, it increased NP generation rate by 5%, and also drop these beams. Over the Rough Waves, which is the 3-star and gives the bronze material, it grants evasion for 1 attack, increases arts performance by 2%, and the same is true for Buster. And for the men's side, it's Summer Break, which ignores... This is the 5-star, which features Tez, which is insane we have not gotten a Summer Tez yet. It has to be this year. They love this man too much to not release this costume in some kind of way or form. He ignores defense, he ignores Buster performance by 8%, and he increases the MP damage by 15%. The 4-star CE, which is Rounds Beach, is an increase to Arts performance by 4%, increase to Buster performance by 4%, and gain 2 crit stars every turn. And the 3-star, which is in Sickness and in Health, 2 big fans of Gene over here, increases debuff resistance by 5%, and increases NP generation rate by 5%, and you drop the bronze material. Very wholesome for how evil this man is. Bluebeard is. It's alright. History has started to say maybe he didn't do everything that he said. Anyway, enough talking about problematic historical figures. Let's finally get into the servants. So we're gonna look at the 4-star real quick, which is all the way the hell back here. And this is also where a large length of the video is likely going to be. I'll cover, again, the ones that are likely going to be the new servants, and also Oberon, and not these guys. I'll give a brief summary when we get to them, but we'll start with Nock. She is a foreigner. She is Nock. Full name is like Nock Na Rabin Yarandu, which I don't know how to pronounce any of that, so I'm just going to go with Nock. A foreigner. She has 1 quick, 3 arts, 1 buster. First skill is the Queen's Tomb A. Grants self debuff immunity for 1 time over 3 turns. Recovers own HP every turn for 3 turns. Charges own NP gauge for every turn for 3 turns. And then charges the NP gauge of allies with the My Fair Soldier status. NP regen is 1,000. The MP regen is... the HP regen is 1,000. The MP regen is 20%. And the My Fair Soldier NP up is 30%. Cooldown is 6. Her second skill is the Queen's Covenant A. Increases party's damage for 3 turns, then grants party the My Fair Soldier debuff, except for self for 3 turns. It's a demerit. My Fair Soldier seals skills. Grants parties attack up, which activates while they have My Fair Soldier status, except for self for 3 turns. Grants parties attack party's defense up, which activates while they have My Fair Soldier status, except for self for 3 turns. The MP up is 20%. The My Fair Soldier attack and defense is 50% for attack and 30% for defense on a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is the VVV Violin Voltage A. Increases own arts performance for 3 turns. Chance to stun all enemies for 1 turn. Reduces all enemies' defense for 3 turns. And then a 500% chance to seal the party arts cards except for self and Artoria caster allies for 1 turn demerit. What, this is such a very specific thing. 20% 2 arts up. The chance to stun all enemies is 60%, and the defense down is 20% on a cooldown of 6. Her passive skills are Magic Resistance A, Melty Heart A, and Southern Star EX. Melty Heart A is an increase to party's critical star generation rate by 20% while self is on the field. And the Southern Star EX is gain 4 crit stars every turn, and also charge on MP gauge by 4% every turn. Her third append skill is an Anti-Lancer attack damage aptitude, because Ku is not safe regardless of what form she takes. And her Noble Phantasm is the Queen's Melty Heart Perpetual Heart Fey Empire. Its arts, it hits 4 times. It deals damage to all enemies, reduces defense for all enemies by 20% for 3 turns, removes own debuffs. And MP level 1, it's 450% damage, but if you get her all the way to level 5, it's 750%, which you are likely to because she is a welfare unit. And then she also recovers her own HP. It's 5,000 at charge level 1, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it is 15,000. And her bond level C, when you get her to bond 10, is once more at Salisbury. When equipped to Nock, increases the MP generation rate of all allies with My Fair Soldier status, except self by 20% while self is on the field. Increases own MP generation rate by 15%. And that is Nock. So this is kind of a weird unit in a lot of ways. The reason being is that My Fair Soldier would likely be perfectly fine if it wasn't for the ceiling of skills. Which maybe it doesn't super matter if you are... Because at least your NP is still up there, but that's still kind of weird. The funny thing is that this ability here, which seals up the arts cards of everyone except for her and our Toria caster allies, is super funny only because if she had that skill, she would actively be terrible because she wants to be next to two Castorias because she's an arts unit. So I think on a base level, she'll probably do fine as far as looping goes. In terms of how to actually use her, though, I don't know. I think there is probably some interesting way to use her in giving someone My Fair Soldier, giving them attack up, giving them some NP damage up, maybe using an additional Castoria friend as a backup, and then just using all their skills on turn 1 and then just kind of going from there. I don't fully know how you'd want to use it. It sounds like more like a for fun thing. Sounds like something me and my brother could potentially like try and look up and see what to do. She is also chaotic evil, so she also has that going for her. But yeah, that's Nock. I'm just kind of happy that Nock's actually a servant you can have, and I'm gonna look to see how she is when I actually have her. That's the nice thing about welfares. If you don't fully understand them, you don't have to worry about like summoning for them. You'll have them, and then you'll just use them. How bad is the skills though, in terms of leveling up? Oh, 12 comet shards is kind of annoying. But everything else, at least for me, is decent enough. What about a Pens? A Pens is kind of a nightmare now that I look at it because of the bells into the photon convergers. For me personally, it's kind of bad. But anyway, that's Nock. Now let's get into the actual banner units, which we're going to start with Suzuki Gozen. Suzuki Gozen, Summer Vacation, is a rider. She has 2 quicks, 2 arts, 1 buster, 4 hits on the quick, 4 hits on arts, and 3 hits on buster with 5 hits extra. Her first skill is the BF Super Summer EX, increases party's attack for 3 turns, increases the MP damage of Summer Mode Servant allies for 3 turns, and then gain crit stars. Attack up is 20%, the Summer Mode Servant MP damage is 20%, and then you gain some stars of 15, and her cooldown is 5. Her second skill is the Supernatural Power Summer A. Increases own quick performance for 3 turns, increases own critical damage for 3 turns, then grants self buff on attack buffs for 3 turns, increases own attack by 10% for 3 turns when critical attacking. This activates first. The quick up is 20%, and the crit damage is 50%, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Oh, wow. Okay. That's really good. Summer Flag B increases one ally's MP generation rate for 3 turns, reduces their skill cooldowns by 1, charges own MP gauge, 30% to MP rate, the 30% to NP, and cooldown is 6. Her passive skills are Riding A, Magic Resistance D, Territory Creation C, Divinity A. Her third skill is an Anti-Lancer attack damage aptitude, and her Noble Phantasm is the Natsumori Jodo, the Korintian, the Midsummer Paradise Nimbus Garden. It's quick, it hits 5 times, it ignores invincibility for 1 turn, increases own damage against enemies with the lawful alignment by 30% for 1 turn. This activates first. This also activates first, the ignore invincibility. And then it deals damage to all enemies. Okay, so it's an AoE, alright. MP level 1, it's 600%, and if you get her all the way to the final MP level, it's 1000. And she also deals extra damage against Earth Attribute. With 50% at charge level 1, it's 150%, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it's 200%. Her Bond 10 CE is Racing Through the Summer. When equipped to Suzuki Gozen, Summer Vacation increases the MP damage of Summer Mode Servant allies by 25% while self is on the field. And that is Suzuki Gozen, Summer Vacation. Now, this is when I would say it. I say it at the beginning of it. I actually don't need to say it for this banner because thankfully all the units are good. But there's usually no reason for ever wanting a summer unit. What do I mean by that? What I mean is all the ways that you could justify yourself, like how good they are, how do they do this, how good are they at looping. It doesn't really matter, because for the most part, people get summer units because they want the summer units, and there's also a good portion of people who want the summer units because they are legitimately good units. I'm in the camp of, if I want a summer unit, it's because they look good in the bikini, and then I go from there. So that was my main reason for wanting Suzuka Gozen. But reading her kit, which is the first time I've ever read it, this actually sounds like a really good unit. I like actually a lot what she's doing here. The kind of cool side way she buffs other summer units herself is pretty nice, especially considering that she is quick. That means Summer Scotty is also a quick unit, and she also buffs her up a little bit. I like her dealing bonus damage against Earth attributes, because that means that if you're ever going against specific Earth attributes, that should help a bunch. And the same thing goes for Lawful Alignment. It's just kind of nice additional bonuses on top of everything she does. The ability to increase MP generation rate for 3 turns is also really nice, because as I said in the past, a lot of quick units can kind of have a little bit of a trouble when it comes to MP generation rate, so it's kind of nice that they have it themselves. She has it, and it's also tied to her own MP gauge charger, which is also pretty nice. This buff here, which is 50% crit damage, is also pretty nice to me, because it means that if you're in a node that has maybe 2 weak ones and 1 big one, and you're attacking with this one, it means with the crit buffs applied to it, you're going to be able to still do some decent damage to them, and likely take them down. Overall, I think this is a pretty solid looking rider unit. I already wanted her because of the way she is and all her various costumes. This was always when people say, how dare you arcade, I very rarely felt it except for some specific units, and those were Tiamat, this version of Suzuka Gozen, and Sita. Those were the main ones that I was always really annoyed that they got and we don't have, and it's kind of nice that we have her here in a way as a summer unit, which really fits the overall aesthetics of what she's going for here. So really good unit, really good looking unit, everything that you would want. The next is the other 4-star, which is Chloe, who's Avenger form here. This is Chloe, also known as Chloe. I guess Chloe von Eisenberg. She is an Avenger. She's Avenger level threat. She has 3 quicks, 1 arts, 1 buster, 5 hits on the quick, 3 hits on the arts, 3 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. First skill is How's the Progress B. Increases party's attack for 3 turns. Increases party's critical damage for 3 turns. Grants party the buff on attack buff for 5 attacks, 5 turns. Grants them the manuscript completion buff for 5 turns when attacking per enemy unit. Grants self the buff on attack buff for 3 turns. And increases on critical damage by 10% for 3 turns when attacking with the quick cards. The note, the manuscript completion enables extra MP charge to party when using Chloe's 3rd skill, and then enables extra damage on Chloe's NP as well. Her attack up is 20%, and the crit damage she gets is 20%, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Her 3rd skill, enough time for revision D++, grants 1 ally's gut status for 1 time 3 turns. Grants self prepare revision buff for 1 time 1 turn. Prepare revision moves self to the last reserve slot for 1 turn. After 1 turn, and can only move if there are 2 other party members left on the field. Note, after moving, the servant who comes out is the leftmost one in the sub-slot. Unlike order change, the position change will reset the deck so it becomes the first turn of a new command card cycle. And at level 10, this revives with 3000 HP on a cooldown of 7. Her 3rd skill is the for some reason I was hitting her with the Gojo, ILO and am the honored one. I am honored to receive your manuscript, A. Increases party's MP damage for 3 turns, charges the MP gauge of all allies with manuscript completion status by 10% per it stacks, 500% chance to remove the party's manuscript completion buffs, MP damage is 20%, and it's a cooldown of 5. Avenger, her passive skills are Avenger C, Oblivion Correction B, Self-Replenishment Magic B, Independent Action B-, and her pen skill for the 3rd one is an Attack Caster, Anti-Attack, I got this, don't worry about it, Anti-Caster Attack Damage Aptitude, increase own attack against caster enemies, because of Ilya. I was trying to do the trust no one, not even yourself, but then I don't actually know the full lore. I assume that's actually her. They look exactly the same. Noble Phantasm is the monochrome impulse, delivering the richly colored black and white to you. Rank B++, it's quick, it hits 9 times, it deals damage to 1 enemy, it deals 100% plus 10% extra damage to enemies, where N equals the manuscript completion stack count, max 10 stacks, and then reduces their MP gauge by 1. At MP level 1, it's 1,200. If you get all the way to MP level 5, it's 2,000. And then also increase quick performance for 3 turns. At charge level 1, it's 10%. And if you get away to the final charge level, it's 30%. Her bond CE is treat me as a friend instead, just for today. When equipped to Chloe, Avenger, increases own NP damage by 30%, grants self the on-entry activated buff for 3 turns, and then grants party manuscript completion buff for 5 turns when entering the field. And that is Chloe. Chloe is the reason I'm summoning on this banner. Funny enough, out of all the units, I actually want Chloe, and the reason is because of her active skills here. Because of this specific skill, and actually it's all I guess all three of them combined have to do it, but because she's able to put herself to the back of the party, and meaning that you can give your party just a slight more bit of NP and then leave, it makes her insanely good as a support unit, because it means that finally, in some instances, she's going to help push certain quick units to the threshold of being able to loop with the Black Rail, which is huge. There's a certain subset of units that I've been waiting for specifically because of Chloe, because she's able to provide them that last bit of push that they need to actually be able to loop with Black Rail. One of them that I can think of off the top of my head, which I think she could probably do it with the right amount of skills of it, but I remember that trying to do it myself, say at lower NP levels, has a lot of trouble looping with the Black Rail, but she's just like barely, she can almost make it. She just needs like the last push to actually make it, and that's what Chloe is going to sit in there for. So for those reasons alone, she's an extremely good support unit. I've seen some people be like, no, this is the one I'm looking for, because this is what's finally going to let me use the janky unit that I love so much. It's so funny that this last bit of push is all they need to be able to do what they need to do, and then move on from that point on. It's really funny, actually, that it's like that, but it is like that, and a lot of it comes down to just this ability. They don't give this to a lot of units, just the ability to actually move yourself away from the party. It's something they seldom give to units, just because I want to say almost every single time that they've figured out a way to give it to someone, they have to hold back the unit in some kind of capacity, or you end up in a situation where it's Chen Gong, where Chen Gong is really good because not only is he's able to remove the support, and then that brings in a new support to help continue to facilitate his never-ending conquest of killing people with his NP. It's insanely good. I look forward to getting her, hopefully. There is a chance for me not to get her and I get the other units on there, would be kind of a bummer. At least for my part, I like the other units on there, so it's not the biggest deal. But yeah, I think Chloe's an extremely good unit, and she's going to help a lot with some of the stats that I've been trying to think in my head, where I was like, I just need this little last bit of push, and she's going to be the push that she needs. So that is Chloe. And then finally, we'll get to the actual new 5-star on the banner, which is Castoria Berserker. Okay. She's a Berserker, obviously. Castoria in a Berserker summer form. She has 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 buster, 5 hits on quick, 4 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 5 hits extra. Her active skills are Heartbeat of Spring EX, increases own critical damage for 3 turns, increases own critical star absorption for 3 turns, charges own NP gauge. Crit damage is 50%, these are all at level 10. The absorption is 5,000, and the NP is 50%, and that's on a cooldown of 6. Her second skill is Fae of Summer B, increases one ally's MP gauge, overcharges their NP by 2 stages for 1 time over 3 turns, increases party's MP generation rate for 3 turns, 20% to NP, 20% to MP rate, and a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is the Holy Sword of Handling A, increases own arts performance for 3 turns, gain 10 crit stars every turn for 3 turns, and then grant self-invincibility for 1 turn. And the arts up is 50% on a cooldown of 6. Her passive skills are Madness Enhancement A, Magic Resistance B, Item Construction E, and the Fey Eyes increases own critical attack chance resistance by 20%. Her third skill is an Anti-Pretender critical attack chance resistance. Her Noble Phantasm is the Hopeful Camelot, the Sword of Inherited Hopes, rank A+, hits 6 times, grants party anti-purge defense for 1 attack, 1 turn, deals damage to 1 enemy, deal 150% extra damage against threat to humanity enemies, reduces their critical attack chance by 20% for 3 turns. At NP level 1, her damage is 900%. If you get all the way to an NP level 5, it's 1,500. Her overcharge effect is an increase to own damage against enemies with the chaotic alignment for 1 turn, activates first, and then increased damage against divinity enemies for 1 turn, activates first. The chaotic and divinity damage is 50% at charge level 1, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it's 100%. And that is Castoria Summer, or Berserkatoria, however you want to try and call her. Summer Castoria is what I'll go on from this point. She is, would you be surprised to hear, extremely good. Yeah, she's absolutely insanely good. She is one of the most hard-hitting arts berserkers out there, to an extreme degree. There are still some arts berserkers, as the last time I declared her. I think I said last time I talked about her. Not I think. I know for a fact I said. She's likely the best single-target berserker for arts. And I got at least one person saying, like, hey, it is possible to out-damage her under very specific circumstances with certain units, which is fair enough. So what I'll say is that she's the easiest one probably to get the highest damage of, just because she's very straightforward in what you need to do. All her skills are very self-explanatory. It's just literally, I get stronger. That's all you need to do. I charge 1 ally's NP gauge. I can also give it to myself to give me overcharge of 2 NP. And then I can just also increase the party's NP generation rate, so you know for a fact with her and 2 Castorias, the full Castoria sweep, she is 100% always getting her NP constantly. It's not going to be very hard. They likely have stuff they can spare to the other ones, to be honest with you. She's going to be fantastic if you're fighting someone who's the threat to humanity. She's going to deal a lot if they're chaotic, and thankfully there's a lot of divine dudes out there, so you're going to be doing a lot of bonus damage to the divine. Very straightforward. It's also nice to get anti-purge defense on a attacker. So every time you're attacking with her, you're also granting your party anti-purge defense, which is just like honestly, this is such a silly bonus to give to a DPS. Because this is a DPSer that's just like, hey, I got you for 1 attack this turn. That's probably why they set it to be, no, this is always the way it worked. 1 attack and over 1 turn so that they don't last forever. And it also has some anti-synergy with, I think, the regular Castoria, because I don't think these stack in any way. So if you're using the other Castoria to give the party a whole bunch of anti-purge, then it's kind of like, not great in that instance. But if you're using them first and kind of going from there, maybe it's a little bit different. But either way, still a very good skill, because it is just rewarding you for hitting with your hardest hitting dude over and over and over again. So it's not surprising that people want her. I mean, it's Castoria. People are always going to want Castoria. It didn't matter what she did. She could have been one of the worst units in the world, and people would have wanted her. But obviously, they would not do that to their girl from Lost Belt 6. So instead, they made her an extremely good unit. Makes a lot of sense if you're going for them. If you're someone who's just looking for, you're like, I'm in arts, I just need something simple, I need something to deal a lot of damage. This is literally your girl. She'll do that for you. Oh, and I did not look at the Bonsi, which our Bonsi is 20-23 years, which would probably be 2025 for us. Increases party's damage against enemies with the chaotic alignment by 15%, and then also increases party's damage against divinity, which is kind of nice. Not bad. Yeah, she is insanely good. So it makes a lot of sense that a lot of people would be going for her. It's not the hardest thing to justify. But she looks very nice. Her swimsuits are very cute. Look at her little bunny costume. This is nice. I think this is my favorite one of all of them, because it seems like the most, like, I'm just here to enjoy summer out of all of them, and I can appreciate that. And finally, let's look at the men. The men is not going to be as long as the women. I'll just say for real quick, just because these are all... Lancelot is not story locked, so you'll always get him randomly. I have him like NP4 without even trying. Gawain and Tristan being story locked is kind of a bummer, so if you're a fan of them and you actually need Oberon, it's not the worst banner to get more copies of them, especially if you like your dudes. I, for example, have never been able to get Tristan. I've been able to get Gawain, and I've been able to get Lancelot Saber, obviously, because he's not story-locked, but it is a pain trying to get story-locked units, especially if you're someone who maybe is interested in getting them as... You, like, love these dudes, and you're like, no, you don't understand. I plan to have all of the knights in grand status for me, and I'm like, well, how does that work with Lancelot Saber? You're just like, shut up, he'll be Berserker, it's fine. Well, I'm like, well, what about the others that also share Saber? And they keep telling me to shut up, and at that point, I'm like, okay, never mind, I'm sorry for interfering with your plans. But this is a good way to get more NP copies and to get more coins as well. And now let's go over Oberon. A Pretender, also known as Redacted. In terms of his kit, he has 2 quicks, 1 arts, 2 buster, 4 hits on quick, 4 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, 6 hits on extra. His first skill is Curtain of the Night EX, charges party's NP damage for 3 turns, charges party's NP gauge by 20%. His second skill is the Morning Lark EX. Charges one ally's NP gauge. 500% chance to grant them the delaying debuff for one turn. Treated as a buff. Demerit. Reduces their NP gauge by 20% for one turn and then gain crit stars. 50% to NP and 20 crit stars on a cooldown of 6. His third skill is the End of a Dream EX. Get ready for this one. Increases one ally's buster performance for one turn. Grants them the MP damage up boost for one turn. MP damage boost temporarily multiplies the value of MP damage up. It's unstackable. 500% chance to grant them the delayed buff for one time. Treated as a buff, ignores debuff resistance and immunity, unstackable, demerit. At the end of the turn, grant them the effect below. 1,000 chance to remove their protagonist correction buffs. 1,000% chance to remove their buffs. 500% chance to grant them Eternal Sleep debuff. Eternal Sleep, similar to Stun. Unlike Stun, this status will ignore debuff resistance and immunity. An affected target will be unable to be selected as a sacrifice. 500% chance to draw attention to all enemies to them by 300% for 3 turns, and a 500% chance to seal their order change. The buster up is 50%, and the MP damage boost up is 100% on a cooldown of 8. His passive skills include question mark, which increases party's debuff success rate by 10% against enemies of the foreign, except foreign enemies while self is on the field, includes sub-members. 500% chance to reduce the buff success rate of Merlin allies by 20% while self is on the field, including sub-members. This is a demerit, and this only applies to a single unit, Merlin. It does not apply to Lady Avalon. Lady Avalon is not Merlin. She is Lady Avalon. Very funny distinction, but it is one that exists. This is literally a fuck you Merlin skill. It may as well be not called question mark. It should be renamed to fuck you Merlin in particular. Territory Creation E-, Item Construction A+, and Writing A, and a Midsummer Night's Dream are his final skills. The Midsummer Night's Dream EX is a grants self a mental debuff immunity. He's immune to stuff like Sleep, Bewitchment, Charm, Charm Resistance down, the Confusion, Eternal Sleep, Terror, and I think Stun. The funny thing is that even though this says he is immune to Eternal Sleep, he is not actually immune to Eternal Sleep. It then grants self the Curse debuff immunity. The note here, the mental debuff immunity, however, was bypassed by Oberon's third skill. You see what I mean here? There's really no way to get rid of that. Even on him, it ends him, basically. He has an anti-taster attack damage attitude because, like I said, fuck Merlin. And his Noble Phantasm is the Lay Rhyme Goodfellow, the Tale of Dreams told over yonder. It's a rank E Noble Phantasm. It's anti-unit. It hits 4 times. Deals damage to all enemies, removes their defensive buffs, inflicts sleep status to them for 1 turn, and then a 500% chance to inflict invincibility to them as a demerit. At MP level 1, it deals 300%, and if you go all the way to MP level 5, it's 500%. And then he deals extra damage to dudes of the Lawful Alignment, which is 150% at charge level 1, and if you get him all the way to the final charge level, it's 200%. And his Bond CE is a Pavon for the Deceased Princess. When equipped to Oberon, increases party's damage against enemies of the Lawful Alignment by 20% while self is on the field. And that is Oberon. Oberon is one of the best support units in the game, kind of bar none. He's definitely one of the ones where, even if you go for one of the main 3, which is for Quick, Buster, and Arts, it would be Castoria, Koyanskaya of Light, and Summer Scotty. The next thing that you would likely do is either immediately go for Oberon or try to get one of the other supports. He's like one of those. He's absolutely amazing at what he does. He can turn Buster units that usually don't do that much damage into absolute bombs at the price of it ending them permanently. This third skill is amazing in how it's designed because it is 100% this is over. The end of the dream is literally the end of the fight. If you're using this, it means that the fight is over. And if you've missed, then that means that it is literally the end of your dreams because you've just literally lost. I think it is amazingly designed. I love this skill for so many reasons. The name of it, the design of it, the way that it offers you so much damage, and at the eternal price of just literally killing the unit, basically. and giving them like these huge protagonist buffs in the way that they're supposed to be so... I could literally spend an entire video talking about how well designed this skill is. I absolutely love this skill. And in terms of an actual gameplay status, it is extremely good because the price that you have to pay for it is still really good. If you're looping and you're using this on turn 3, you're likely ending it anyway. So it doesn't matter if they go to sleep if the fight is over, right? That's the ultimate trade-off that you have with this. In terms of his other skills, they're pretty self-explanatory. This first skill is just generically extremely good. This second skill also has a slight drawback to it, but as long as you're using it with a unit that can handle it, there's no real problem here. Like, for example, you're using a Buster unit, and they're already going to have 0 starting NP when you use them. Who cares if they lose 20% if they're already at 0? You know what I mean? Or if they're an arts unit and they have 100% NP at the end of the turn, who cares if they lose like 20%? At that point, you can still just use their first skill to kind of get them over the edge. So he is really good. He's so good that they also made sure that he could not be used with Merlin because he would be insane. So they had to give him an extremely huge debuff if you try to run them together. And yeah, he is absolutely a unit worth going for. If you don't have him and you're going into summer and you're thinking, okay, but with all the hot summer units coming out, is it still worth it to get Oberon? The answer is yeah, it 100% is. This is not an easy summer for a lot of people. Not only is he good, he's also a fantastic character that's been written. The other thing I'll say is that it's also very rarely comes up, but you can loop with him. With the Black Grail, which is what I've done in the past with Oberon. If you give him the Black Grail, he can loop pretty effectively as long as you're fighting someone of the first 3 classes, which is Saber, Archer, and Lancer. But if you're using this as like a defensive skill, the nice thing about it is that because he gives it... So if you don't know this, sleep is basically stun. But the problem is that if you hit them while they're asleep, they leave the stun status. But if you make them invincible, you can't actually deal damage to them. So they keep the asleep status and they stay stunned, which is very nice. Yeah, Oberon. I could likely go on longer, but you should already know that Oberon is good and worth going for. I want to say that most people start FGO and they already know Oberon is good. And if you don't know, go to your friend slot, pick a friend, any friend, it doesn't matter, and use their Oberon. And you will see how effective he is and how good he is. And likely, if you're a brand new player, you can see how devastating this skill is when you miss. But that is everything for the start of summer. And yeah, that is the end of the video finally. Almost an hour long in length. Thank you very much if you made it all the way here to the end. I thank you very much for watching. I can't wait for summer. Thankfully, I already have Oberon, and I don't need more Gawain and Tristan copy. Or I'm not that interested in a copy of Tristan at this moment, because I don't need extra copies of Lancelot or Oberon or Gawain, so it makes it very unlikely for me to summon on Tristan. I'll wait for if there's ever a good banner to summon for him and kind of go from him there. Me and my brother will be doing a summon video for the summer units, and then we'll also do a follow-up. I'll also do a follow-up talking about these banners when it comes closer to the release for all of them, because again, this is a very hard summer because there's a lot of all these banners are really good, and after this rush of dudes, it can finally be time to rest and see what's left for the year. But yeah, there'll be a video, and I wish you all the best of luck. Okay, finally, that's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, you guys have a good day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Peace.